today. I want to welcome everyone. Before I get started, for those of you who didn't hear, I need you guys, if you're guests or members, to sign in, chat your name and your email address. This is the way that we keep attendance. Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to NAWBO Circle of Learning. We are excited to have you join us to hear our speaker today, Darren McLeish. He has a wealth of information for us, so let's get this ball started. You guys know I'm Olivia Kroom. My birthday is December 13th, and we have Yolanda Haynes as my co-host. And let's go ahead and get started. Yolanda, you're on mute. Yolanda, you're on mute.
All righty.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to scratch my head and rub my belly at the same
That's
time.
okay.
So,
Gotcha.
So the goal of our Circle of Learning program is to provide educational opportunities for women entrepreneurs in order to build and strengthen capacity and capabilities to grow their business. And we do this in our Circle of Learning through connecting, learning, and growing together. For more information about upcoming events of the Circle of Learning, please check out NAWBO GDC website. And with the speakers program we have coming up, if you are a premier member of NAWBO GDC, please feel free to fill out the application online. If your topic of discussion for your profession may be chosen depending on the timing slot that we have for that. Just we're looking for some of our dynamic speakers to come out and present to our NAWBO audience. So check the website for additional information about that as well. Now I'm going to turn it over to our president, Charmaine Brown. Charmaine?
Just looking at my photo and saying, wow, I look like a carbon copy of that. Like my hair is the same and everything.
Yes.
Kind of weird. But hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be with all of you this evening for the Circle of Learning. My name is Charmaine Brown, and I am the president and CEO of Connections Consulting. My organization is an org development firm dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. In my spare time, I happen to be the president of this amazing chapter, and I'm really excited to have with us this evening our corporate sponsor, Comerica Bank. Comerica has been a huge supporter, champion, and leader for our chapter in particular. And we really appreciate having the knowledgeable and expert advice and feedback and presentations from all of the Comerica colleagues and families. So thank you. I'm going to say it now and I'll say it later. Darren, thank you so much for being with us. And LaToya, thank you for continuing to support bringing your colleagues to NAWBO. One of the things that I want to share with you, a couple things. This time of the year is always interesting because on one hand, we're looking at kind of, scaling down for the year, but then this has been a really odd and unique year. I'll say it that way, right? With COVID and everything else that's been going on. And I, for one, have been thinking about planting the seeds for 2021 in terms of my own financial health and making sure that not only is my family taken care of both in the short term and the long term, but that my business is also on that same pathway. And so this is perfect timing personally for me, but I suspect for many of you as well. So pull your pens and your paper out and get to jotting down those notes, because I think one of the values of Circle of Learning is that we get to share resources that will really help you both personally and professionally. So thank you again, Darren and LaToya, for being here today. And just as a quick reminder, save the date for our Ladies Over Lunch on December 4th. It's always the first Friday of every month. This particular Friday, we will be doing it holiday style. So please stay tuned. There could be a little surprise there, and we may even ask you to come dressed a certain way. Can't do the red shoes like we've done in the past. Well, we could, but then everyone would have to lift their legs up so everyone can check them out. So we'll get creative, but hopefully you'll all join us for our Ladies Over Lunch on December 4th. And I am now going to turn it back over.
Okay.
Thank you,
Olivia?
Charmaine. Thank you. And we are just so honored to have Comerica as our sponsor. And today's topic is building your financial future. Now, I'd like to introduce you guys to Latoya Rowell. She has a vital role with Comerica Bank as Community Affairs Coordinator, and she's responsible for helping to execute Comerica's Financial Education Brigade volunteer program and external diversity strategy, which includes Comerica's market segmentation initiative team. She is going to give us the honor of talking about Comerica and introducing our speaker tonight. Latoya?
Thanks, Olivia. So I wanted to give a quick overview of Comerica. As many of you guys know, Comerica was formerly headquartered in Detroit and is now headquartered in Dallas, Texas. I've been with the bank for almost 14 years and have had the pleasure of coming to Michigan and Detroit and checking it out. So I love Detroit. It kind of feels like home. I usually go there about 2 or 3 times a year. Hadn't had a chance to go this year due to COVID, but I just love Detroit, and you guys are doing a great job with NAWBO. So as I said, Comerica has been in existence for over 170 years. We have 3 major business markets or segments that we look to. So our business bank, our retail bank, and our wealth management division. And our priority at Comerica Bank is to know you and know your business and what your business needs. We have a wealth of trusted advisors who focus on your business growth, improving your cash flow, and managing your risks and personal financial needs. So I will take it and to introduce our speaker for today. Darren McLeish is a seasoned financial service professional. He is a senior financial consultant for Comerica Bank. He has over 25 years of knowledge, primarily in the retail brokerage side and investment management industry. He has been a financial advisor, an assistant manager, a bank manager at Morgan Stanley, and has some positions on the West Coast with West Coast Regional Manager for Ameritrade, and has at Fidelity Investments, he led a highly experienced and dedicated investment professionals and helped to inspire better financial futures for both his clients and his associates. He resides in Laredo. I hope I said that right, Darren. You can.
That's called Ladera Ranch.
Ladera Ranch in California. And his wife and of 30 years and 3 children. So welcome, Darren. Darren has been a great speaker for us at Comerica. This is not his only foray into speaking. So when I brought up the topic to him, he was gracious enough to come and speak to NAWBO. So thank you so much, Darren, and I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you very much. So right now I am joining you from my Zoom studio in my home in Southern California. And I will say outside right now it's a sunny and 72. So
we're jealous.
Yeah, well, but don't be. But what I'm happy to report that right now there's no earthquake, there's no fire, there's no flood. At the moment, there's no civil unrest within 60 miles of my location, and just dealing with a global pandemic. And on a serious note, I know that we are all dealing with this stuff in different ways. And for now, though, hey, listen, we're all here together. And together, we're talking about stuff that's important, it's positive, and it's forward looking. So thank you very much, sincerely, for allowing me to be part of this. So with that, I'll introduce the program. So what you're looking at is the first slide in the very first deck of the Money Smart curriculum. And the Money Smart curriculum is put out by the FDIC. You could find this curriculum on fdic.gov, for example. And in that curriculum, you'll find participant guides, videos, learning. So I think one of the takeaways is I'll be referring to a participant guide from time to time. For those of you interested, you'll want to dig that out because there are some worksheets, some exercises and stuff that you could go through there. But not only for yourself, but these are things that are important to share with your family, your children, your employees. There's 14 different modules in this curriculum. Today, though, we're going to talk about money, influence, expenses, and income, and so forth. So here's the deal. So, and then we'll move forward. What I'm about to go through with you is very powerful. It will definitely have an impact on your financial future. And as I said, quite possibly on those around you. So one thing though, it's basic and it's fundamental. And some of you might think, man, I already know this stuff. The question is, but do you do it, right? So in my profession, in the last 25 years, I've helped individuals, families, trusts, business owners, businesses, and endowments, manage their money through now about 14 major market corrections and 3.5 recessions, up to and to include the tech wreck back in 2000, 9/11, the 2008 financial crisis, and then recently the shenanigans of this global pandemic. So I've seen a lot. So point is, some of this is basic. You are going to walk away with something that will remind you to implement today. So with that said, let's get into, back up one more slide, Yolanda. We're going to start with values and money. So in this section, we're going to learn that values are important and that they influence your financial decisions. So understanding your values can help you set achievable financial goals. So what are values? On the next slide, values are derived from people, things, places, that are important to you, and they guide you on how you make decisions. Values shape how you prioritize your time and your energy and your money. So we're going to get to a poll question, right? And so while the poll is coming up, it's interactive, but while it's coming up, I will say to you, if you came into some money, like a tax refund or a bonus, what would you do? Would you spend it? Would you save it? Or would you use it? Use it means, for something like paying down a debt or something like that. So I think we're waiting for the polls to be answered. If you'd click an answer and then submit it, and then Jane could bring it up for us.
Yeah.
There we go.
So everybody can click on whichever one they with their choice, and click submit.
So there's no real right or wrong answer. I think spending it, you might have other plans for it unless it's a planned spend, right?
Okay.
So there you go. So, hey, again, no right or wrong answer. I personally selected save it, but there have been times in all of our lives where we needed to use it in some way or we had a spending goal. So, but let's talk about this a little bit more. So we're going to try it out on the next slide. We're going to talk about what you do with your money. So I'm going to talk to you about a scenario on slide number 16. And for this, I'm going to interact with the participant on this call. So this is entitled Ask a Participant segment of this. So today, my first participant is Tisha. Are you out there?
Be sure you unmute.
Sounds like she's out there.
I'm here.
Okay. So Tisha, I'm going to read you a scenario. Okay. And the scenario is about Valentina and Isaiah and how they decided to spend their tax refund check, right? So Valentina and Isaiah recently received their tax refund and can't agree on how to use it. Valentina, she put herself through college by working 30 hours a week on top of a full course load. She still has some student loans. Also, her mother is struggling to make ends meet. So what Valentina would like to do is give her mother most of that tax refund uh, and use it as a security deposit to help her mom get into an apartment. She also wants to use the rest to continue paying down her student loan debt. Now, on the other hand, Isaiah's parents helped him with college expenses with money that they saved over the years in the college tuition fund. He graduated with minimal loans and paid them off promptly a few years before he and Valentina even met and got married. And he would like to use the tax refund check to put into a savings account for a college fund for his 3 children. And he wants to use the rest, take his family on vacation. So he wants just to spend some quality time with his family. So Tisha, I'll ask you, if Valentina and Isaiah came to you for advice, what would you tell them to do?
I would tell them to consider doing a combination of things that may involve some compromising and some forward thinking, and still being able to be a blessing to their family and pay down some of their debt and still save for things to come in the future. So I would tell them to not make a rash or irrational decision, and to weigh the pros and the cons, maybe think about it a day or two before giving all the money away. You want to protect some of that and put it in different baskets.
Right. I mean, that's it's a kind of a combination. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go. I could tell you, 15, 20 years ago when I was married, and if my wife told me, hey, I want to give some of your bonus check to your mother-in-law, we would have had to had a discussion. Today, I feel a little bit differently. But Tisha, I think the question is, do you think that any of your own values are influencing how you view their situation and your advice?
Totally.
Yeah. And your values have changed over time too, right?
My relationship with money has changed over time with my age also.
That's right. All right. Good job. So the key takeaway on this section on values and your money, and that would be on the next slide there, Yolanda, slide number 17. The key takeaway, understanding your values can help you set achievable financial goals. And we just gave you an example of a very common discussion a husband and wife might have. So here's the thing. Valentina and Isaiah's financial choices are guided by their own values, and so are yours. So sometimes your values might conflict with those of your community, your culture, your family, your partner, or your friends. So your family culture may value saving and avoiding debt, but your broader community may value material things like new cars and expensive clothes. So understanding your core values, it helps you set realistic goals. And that's because if you understand your values and you set realistic goals, you're more likely to keep working toward a goal that brings you closer in life to the things that you want to achieve. Understanding your core values can also help you make spending decisions that are in line and help you meet your goals. So that's the connection. So influence is a big deal, and it evolves over time. And I think you put it best, Tisha, your relationship with money, it changes. So here we are. So the next slide is on goals and money. So goals help you prioritize how you use your money. And we've all heard about SMART goals. So a SMART goal is something that's specific, it's measurable, it's action-oriented, it's reachable, and it's time-bound. Acronym for SMART. So on the next slide, we have, a little bit more description about goals. So think about the kind of future you want for yourself and your family. You know, how would you like your life to look, and how would you like to feel in the next few months, the next few years, 10 years, 20 years, going into retirement? So these ideas about your future and your family are your hopes and your dreams. So number one, developing a plan will help you visualize what you need to do to reach your goals. Setting goals helps you prioritize how you use your money, and setting goals helps you measure how you track your progress. So we have another Ask Your Participant section here, and we're going to go with Charmaine. And I know you're there, Charmaine. So I'm going to read you a scenario about Maria. So Maria has a goal. Well, she's developing a goal. So it's almost summertime. Maria wants to start planning for the next school year. She knows that she's going to need some extra money for school supplies and clothes when her kids start school at the end of August, which is like 15 weeks away for her. So every year she tries to cobble together this money that she needs in the weeks right before school starts by picking up, extra shifts at work, for example. So she knew that last year she spent about $300 on school supplies. So she took $300, she divided it by 15 weeks. She realized she needs to save $20 a week until school starts to meet this goal. So Charmaine, I will ask you, Maria needs to save some money for school supplies. Which to you is a SMART goal? So goal number one, if she were to articulate it and write it down, not you write it down, but she should write it down. I will save money before school starts to buy some school supplies. Or I need to save $300. So I'm going to pick up extra shifts so I can save $20 each week between now and the end of August to pay for school supplies for my kids. Which one, Charmaine, is a SMART goal?
The second one is the SMART goal.
Absolutely. So, but you see the difference. It's kind of well articulated. So in investment circles, a goal is, you've got dollars, you want your goals here, and you've got a time frame into between and what's it used for. When you articulate that, it becomes a goal. And in financial planning, you write this stuff down. In business planning, you write this stuff down. Okay. So the key takeaway. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to add one thing as we're spinning through this. These sections, they're really big. I've taken like a 78 different slides and condensed them down to about 30. So we're spinning through this really fast and kind of touching the highlights and the basics and the important fundamentals. So there is more meat on this bone, but for now, the key takeaway on that SMART section is setting SMART goals helps you achieve your hopes and your dreams for your future by providing a realistic plan to follow. Makes sense to me. I didn't always have a realistic plan to follow. Now I do. External influences. This is a big deal. This is one I struggle with today in a weird way. So external influences affect financial decisions, and you need to deal with those influences. So external influence, you need to develop a strategy to deal with that. So we come to a poll question. So while Jane is bringing that up, I will ask, what external influences has the most influence on your choices about money? Advertising, media, celebrities, or parents and friends? So we'll take about 15 seconds or so to get those in and see some results. So as those polls are coming in, all right, that was quick, but I saw the results. Looks like most everybody was leaning towards parents and friends. So most people are influenced in some way on slide 24 by external influences like advertising, media, celebrities, and peer pressure. I think it says peers, parents, and friends. So I'm going to ask Priscilla. I have like an ask a participant for Priscilla. So Listen, it's human nature to want what others have and so forth. But Priscilla, have you ever wanted something that someone you know or a celebrity that you admire has, like maybe their clothes, maybe a vacation, maybe more spending money?
Yes.
Absolutely. Noticing what other people's have and feeling envious, it's human nature. But again, the more mature you get, like a lot of things I just don't care about anymore, right? So it may feel like you must spend money just to keep up, and I would say this to the youngers, and I've got the tale of two daughters. I have two daughters and a son, and I see how they use their money. One's one way and one's the other. So advertisers spend billions of dollars trying to suck us in to make us want things and influence how we use our money. So this can lead to purchasing things on impulse that aren't in your spending or savings plan. And it can derail your efforts to achieving your goals. I think you figure it out over the long run, but I think when you think back, how much money that, just kind of you spent away that could have been used for something else back then. So, on slide 26, some strategies to help you stay focused on your goals is, just keep in mind, recognize what advertisers are trying to do to you. Notice when and where you are going to be tempted, and then control your environment. So for me, maybe I spend a little bit less time in the hardware store. For others, maybe it's somewhere else. But here's the one I use the most. This is the biggest one. I like this one. Build in a pause before you spend on something. It's the easiest thing to do. So for example, you may be tempted to spend money on something. So force yourself to pause so you can be sure that it's not an impulse. So for example, I do this when I'm shopping online, and I will add something. I will add an item to my cart that I wasn't originally planning on buying. That's not what I went in there for. And I'm a big user of Amazon for a lot of things, right? So, and I put things in my shopping cart and then I shut it down. I shut down the browser before I purchase it. The thing I really didn't want, or thing I didn't go there to buy. So if I'm still thinking of it, or if a week or two later I come up and it's still in my cart, I've had a chance to think about it before I push the button and actually buy it. So I'm a big fan of building that pause and don't be an impulse. Yeah. So the key takeaway from this section on slide 27 is external influences impact financial choices. You have to build in some strategies to stay focused on your goals. Okay. Now listen, as an aside, I will say money, I've heard it said, money can't buy you happiness. And there's a song, it's a country song. If you heard it, you're going to really appreciate this, but there's a song that says, I acknowledge money doesn't buy happiness, but it could buy me a boat, or it could buy me a truck to pull it with. And I agree with that. Hey, if you want something, you've got to have it be part of your plan and you spend to it. So module number 3, your income and expenses. So in this module, we're going to talk a little bit about understanding your income, your expenses, and it's divided into 2 sections, income and expenses. So understanding your income is the first step in using it to meet your needs. So obviously income is the money that you receive, and we're going to discuss very quickly different types of income, withholdings, and how to keep track of your income. And now this is where there's a lot of stuff in the participant guide to kind of help you work through this. Or more importantly, like I said, teach your associates, your employees, maybe your children, your family. All the materials there to have this discussion that was never there for me. They don't teach this stuff in college, believe it or not, unless you're in the right kind of class. And so here you are. It's up to us. So types of income. There are different types of income. There's earned income, like what we get from our job or a gig or a side hustle or a contract. There's income from assets and investing, like maybe rent, dividends, interest you earn, capital gains. There's public benefits that we're supposed to be entitled to as we grow older, like Social Security or pensions or other benefits. And there's other income like gifts, settlements, child support, alimony, all that fits in. Okay. So on slide 31 is an Ask a Participant. So Fiona, You're the participant now. Fiona, when you get paid and you look at your pay stub, do you ever get the sense that the amount that you earn is not the same as what you take home?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, especially when, you know, you have that big contract that pays off for that payday or that bonus at the year end, it's a lot different. So when you get paid, there's deductions, which fall into two major categories. There's those required deductions like the FICA, Social Security, Medicare, income tax, federal and state. Then the elective or voluntary deductions like insurance premiums. So these ones I'm a fan of. Insurance premium, dues, retirement account contributions, big, huge deal. Do you know, by the way, as an aside fact, planning for retirement or anything, do you know that if you, as a young person at age 20, just found a way to put $200 a month away until you were age 67? I mean, let's pick a retirement age that's out there when you're fully retired. Do you know how much money you would have if you earned a rate of 7% a year, which is kind of the average? $200 a month at 7% a year until you, for 47 years, when you're age 67, will grow to be $884,000. And that's a big deal. And most people say, well, I can't even do that. How do I save just $200 a month? I'm about to show you. So poll question first. And this kind of gets to it. So the poll question is, at tax time, would you prefer to O, no additional tax monies, or B, receive a refund, or C, owe money for taxes? So give you all about 10 more seconds here before the results come up. So while those results will, okay, so, oh, no additional money. So hey, all of you are business owners, so you're thinking about that, right? Some like to receive a refund. It's kind of a built-in savings tactic. It's a way to go. So I think that here's the deal. So on slide 33, let's understand some of the withholdings a little bit. So before an employer withholds federal or state or local income taxes from your gross pay, they're going to ask you to complete or you ask your employees to complete that W-4, right? So they know how much to withhold. So this is useful. Some of us would rather have additional withholding or no additional withholding, which equals a lower take-home pay, right? But some of us, others would like to reduce their withholdings to increase their take-home pay. And so be careful that you're not having too much withheld. My argument is that extra $50, $100, $150, in some cases $200 per pay period, instead of taking it home anyway or paying it to the IRS, could be diverted to your retirement account. And that's how we get to that, hey, maybe $200 a month for the rest of your life. Savings could grow to be quite a bit. All you got to do is manipulate that W-4 a little bit, so that you take home, your net goes up, but your contribution to your plans also go up. You follow? Good stuff. Next slide. Tracking your income. So this is where there's some really good trackers and some ideas to kind of understand in the participant guide. So many people receive income from multiple sources. Income can be regular, or it can be unpredictable. It can be seasonal, or it can be one time. So understanding your income helps you plan how you're going to save, how you're going to share, and how you're going to spend your money. How much income you receive and where it comes from is important. And knowing how regular your income is, that's also important. And when you know that, obviously it helps you spend appropriately to achieve your goals. So the key takeaway from this section, understand your income. It's the first step in using your income to meet your needs. Next slide, we drift over into expenses. So there are different types of expenses and ways to manage your expenses. So understanding your expenses will also help you decide how to use your income. So when we think about how to use your money, we could save it, we could share it. That means, we might, birthday money or this, that, or we could spend it. So thinking about your expenses, can be pretty stressful, especially if you're worried about how to make ends meet. So understanding where your money is going can empower you to make choices and changes. In the long run, it's going to help you reduce some stress as well as reduce your expenses. So here are ways to think about expenses. This is very important. It is sometimes helpful to think about your expenses in 3 different ways. Needs, which these are the things you must have to live, like rent, mortgage, utilities, food, that stuff. Wants, these are things that you desire, but you can live without it. So those are nice to plan into your budget from now and then. And then there's our obligations. These are debts that you owe. For example, again, like the mortgage or a revolving line or something like that. So think about, you be sure to categorize, and there's a worksheet to help you analyze your expenses. And I will tell you this, after 25 years of helping people plan for their financial success, you would be surprised how often when I ask them, well, what are your expenses? We need to understand your expenses so we can understand how much you could save. How many hundreds and hundreds of clients do not have a handle on their personal expenses? And when you start tracking it and charting it, it's a very powerful thing. So next we have a poll question coming up, just out of curiosity. So on the next slide, the poll is, I track my expenses and manage my spending to the penny, within a couple of bills every month, or I'm a spender. I think Jane has that coming up here soon. All right. That's about right. I personally, I'm within a couple of bills every month. So, however, when it comes to me thinking about, well, what kind of expenses might I have in retirement, which is still a long ways away, that's when you want to kind of mark it down to the penny. So on slide number 40 is tracking your expenses. So tracking your expenses help you understand if you are using your money in line with your values and goals. Tracking your expenses may also uncover where you can make changes, perhaps decreasing spending so you can save or share more of your income. And then finally, tracking expenses also has another unexpected benefit. When you track your expenses, you usually spend less money. So there you go. Also in the participant guide, again, there's a lot of sections in the participant guide about applying it. So one of the tools we're showing on the screen here is in the participant guide is saving, sharing, and spending diary. So when you use this tool, you write down how you use your money for a certain period, preferably a month or more. And so what you do is you write it down. You try to understand, is it a need, a want, or an obligation? And then there's a second tool in there that helps you track. It's a monthly expense logs to help you understand where's your money going and what is it being used for. So I told you we kind of blow through some of this kind of quick and hit the high level fundamentals. So the final takeaway from this last module, understand your expenses. That will help you decide how to save, share, and spend your income. So that concludes my quick presentation. But there is a lot of resource on, I think it's wonderful that FDIC.gov website, either from a learner perspective or a teacher perspective. So I think you could use it to supplement or improve your own financial futures, but more importantly, I think those of others around you.
Okay. All right, Darren, thank you so much. That was wonderful. That was really good information. And now we have time for a couple of questions. Does anyone have any questions at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Darren, for great information. What are some services that Comerica offers to customers or people considering to be customers to have this level of conversation, the basic, the intermediate, or the advanced kind of conversation?
Well, yeah. So here's what, especially, if you're out in Michigan, there's a Comerica all over the place, right? So you've got your retail banking centers, and that's typically, a point of contact that's common to a lot of customers, right? But what they don't know, and that's the thing, nobody knows everything that Comerica does. So Comerica, we have one of the largest trust companies in America. Comerica, we have a very robust wealth management platform, of which I'm a part of. So typically what we offer to our banking customers is pretty robust. So one of the things is, a good old fashioned portfolio review, or maybe your 401k or something like that. You're entitled to that as a Comerica customer, where a financial consultant like me will visit with you either in this format or at a branch or at a location when we can, to talk to you about your goals, review your portfolio, and help you develop a very robust savings and spending plan to help you stay on track and reach your goals. So from a wealth management or a financial consulting standpoint, that's what I'm part of, and of course, the bank is chock full of resources to help you manage your checkbooks and open accounts and take care of your needs that way as well.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, as you can see, you can connect with Comerica on their social media platforms. Darren, you also provided your contact information, and we're going to allow you to put that in chat for people if they have any additional questions afterward.
I think
Also,
Priscilla had something. Priscilla?
I was just pointing to the comments in the chat.
okay.
Some good comments in chat.
Okay, all righty. Yes. So yeah, thank you, Darren. And we want to remind everyone that we sent you a link earlier today for the Money Smart FDIC learning modules and that participant guide that Darren referred to. It's also in the chat. So I would admonish you, I went on that website to look at it, and it is robust. You can learn just about any information that you like. So it's going to be important that you take the time out and take a look at that. All right.
I also saw some stuff on there too. I wanted to add that I think it's a great tool for your teenagers and college students as well, especially kids that are going into college where they're attacking them with these credit cards and trying to get them to sign up for credit cards and things like that. So it's a good talk around the table type information to have as well. Thanks so much, Darren.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. And guys, don't forget to connect with us. We had a couple of guests that joined us. And you joined us maybe a little late, if you could put your name and your email address in the chat, then we can keep attendance. So we just appreciate you guys so much for joining us today. We have our next Circle of Learning in January. And don't forget the holiday party on December 4th. Is there anything else, Charmaine, Yolanda, that we need to?
Just that's it. I think that's it. Just remember to like us on Facebook and connect with us if you're members in the NAWBO GDC Connect room as well. And if you're a Premier member, don't forget to send out the speakers form. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And
Olivia?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I want to thank Alakwa Bobbitt from Davenport University for stopping by. I know that she'll be on that Davenport will be on a future Circle of Learning, and I appreciate her joining us tonight.
Yeah, Alakwa, did you want to say a couple of words? I know I'm putting you on the spot, so you
No.
don't have to.
No, I totally appreciate this opportunity and the invite. Darren, thank you so much for all of the knowledge. I'm taking notes and I'll understand more where my money is going. So thank you for sharing with us today. And then Davenport, we're just looking forward to be a part of this Circle of Learning. So again, it looks like a great opportunity. We're excited about relaunching our partnership. I happen to represent Davenport IPEX department, and we're the corporate education arm of Davenport University. So we're looking forward to 2021 and hopefully some new things that are up and coming for this December as well. And so thank you so much, Charmaine and Olivia and Yolanda and everyone for inviting me out just to be a part of this Circle of Learning. I've truly had a great time, and it was fun and enjoyed the learning. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for Tisha for reminding me of that. Ladies and gent, have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next time. And have a happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you after, before Thanksgiving. Bye now.
Bye.
Right.
You did good.